Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So if you guys were wondering, I know President Donald Trump did say that XRP was going to be added to the stockpile. Here's the confirmation. I mean, even after we did get David Sachs saying, well, don't read too much into which cryptocurrencies are going to be added to the stockpile. Essentially, it's going to be the seizures. And Matthew Lany just pointed us in this direction. XRP, guys, confirmed that it is going to be added in the stockpile. This is the Western District of Pennsylvania, a report here of some cryptocurrencies that have been seized over, looks like December of 2024. And XRP, guys, as you can see here, was seized from a particular address here, along with some other cryptocurrencies, including Dogecoin, Tron, Binance Coin, just to name a few. Ethereum is on this list as well, some Tether. And I will link this in the description if you guys are interested, but it looks as though XRP is on the list. So wanted to thank Matthew Lany just for that confirmation, in case you guys were wondering if XRP is on the seizure list. I have a feeling that, they mention XRP, ADA, Ethereum, and Solana because they knew that they already had larger quantities of those particular cryptocurrencies on the side. That's just my guess, my speculation there. But anyway, wanted to thank Matt for bringing that up. Guys, I also happen to see this from Subjective Views. BlackRock's head of digital assets, Robbie Mitchnick. By the way, Robbie also created or co-created the XRP price calculator. If you guys haven't seen a video I've done on that, I will link that up here in the top right-hand corner. Him and Susan Athey did that back in 2018. He says the direction for travel and focus for TradFi firms are public blockchains, okay? They're getting rid of this idea of using private blockchains and keeping everything public. Listen to this.
Financial institutions' efforts on private blockchains in the past and maybe sort of the shift to public blockchains, the regulatory political temperature that has kind of been changing in recent years to kind of lead to that.
Yeah, well, I think the verdict is in on the private blockchains, and it's not good. That was obviously where a lot of the TradFi exploration in this space occurred in the early years. In particular, that was really all the banks and some of the other TradFi institutions had comfort with. But the track record is what it is, and it reflects the fact that there's been very, very de minimis actual adoption in an economic, commercial way at scale of any of these private blockchain projects. And I think, in hindsight, at least, that makes sense in terms of the curbing of the value prop of blockchain's potential that a private blockchain represents. And so public blockchains are increasingly the focus, even for TradFi firms, maybe not all yet, but certainly that's the direction of travel. And, we've seen obviously encouraging regulatory guidance over the last couple of weeks that help support the notion that this is now suitable territory for even banks in the U.S. to engage in.
So it's interesting that he says, for when all these banks and financial institutions finally can jump on board because we have crypto regulation, it's going to be the public blockchains that they utilize. They haven't actually seen, too much in the way of benefit from private blockchains, and it's probably just because the liquidity isn't there. But anyway, wanted to thank Subjective Views for posting that, and of course, Matt. I think I thanked Matt. Nevertheless, thank him again. No problem with that. Marty Party bringing us some interesting news with regards to the UAE. Yes, the capital, Abu Dhabi, is coming into crypto big. A 1 million Bitcoin purchase will be acquired. Ripple, Solana, Sui, and all the exchanges accelerating in this jurisdiction. This is what's happening, guys. Apparently, Binance did recently just secure the largest investment ever in crypto as Abu Dhabi's MGX pledges $2 billion. This is a huge piece of news. Emirati state-owned investment firm MGX, so this is owned by the government, the UAE government, announced a $2 billion investment into Binance in what makes the cryptocurrency exchange's first institutional investment and the single largest investment ever paired in crypto. So this was paid for $2 billion in stablecoins. In a joint press release, the firm said the minority stake would be paid for in stablecoins, making it the largest investment ever paid in a cryptocurrency. Stablecoins, of course, we know what they are. Abu Dhabi launched the MGX investment firm last year with a focus on AI technology. So that's interesting. In September, MGX partnered with the likes of BlackRock and Microsoft to launch a more than $30 billion AI fund, but it has yet to invest in the cryptocurrency industry and blockchain sectors, or it had yet to invest until yesterday. Here's a quote: MGX's investment in Binance reflects our commitment to advancing blockchain's transformative potential for digital finance. The press release added, by partnering with the leading industry player, MGX aims to enable innovation at the intersection of AI, blockchain technology, and finance. Binance and MGX did not immediately comment on the size or the stake, what stablecoin would be used for payment, etc. I'm assuming it's going to be a US peg stablecoin, not sure though. Binance has not responded to an inquiry on whether the deal has been completed. But guys, this is what we're looking at. Major crypto hubs like this particular one in the Middle East, the UAE, their broader ambitions are to become global technology leaders, and it's growing into a regional crypto hub, which is interesting. Binance is the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world and has grown its Middle East footprint as it faced regulatory hurdles and enforcement measures in other jurisdictions over the years. According to the press release, now Binance employs approximately 1,000 of its 5,000 global workforce in the UAE. So 20% resides in the UAE. Big news, guys. Binance has always been, a questionable exchange, I think, in the West. But now with this partnership, this adds legitimacy to the firm big time, considering Emirati state-owned MGX is now saying, look, let's make a deal and let's make this work in the UAE, and probably not just keeping it to the UAE. They want to make this a global thing. So big news there. Wanted to thank Marty Party just for originally posting that. Guys, I also happened to see this, and I didn't know that Jenny Johnson said this twice. Look what the CEO at Franklin Templeton said. And guys, she said it twice. I saw a video of her saying it, and I'm like, that's kind of an older video. I thought that was from either last year or the year before. It was one of those crypto summits. But she's on the record saying it twice. And what she said, Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is coming to financial services. Now, guys, this on the heels of Franklin Templeton filing for an XRP ETF. If you guys didn't catch the video I did on that yesterday, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. Here's Jenny Johnson mentioning this. I guess this was from 2023 in July at the Dubai FinTech Summit. Listen to this.
Through this, I think Bitcoin is up around 75% year to date, in fact. So how do we explain that, and what's happening there?
So I tell people, I think the two biggest disruptors to any industry are going to be AI and blockchain, right? And then I follow it with Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is ultimately coming to financial services and other businesses. And that is not to say that Bitcoin has no value. Actually, it was someone in this region who pointed out to me that, just the fact that the US confiscated assets from Russia would drive people into asset classes like Bitcoin, because there would be a view that those assets could be outside of any government confiscating them. So I'm not saying that Bitcoin isn't going to have some value.
So within that context, discussing Bitcoin too, how that's going to have some value, but it's one of the biggest distractions pretty much from the real technology that's going to move the financial system. Again, this is Jenny Johnson of Franklin Templeton, the company that just applied for an XRP ETF. Now, more recently, guys, she said the same thing on Bloomberg News. This one courtesy of FireDog. Listen to this.
Say that one of the best opportunities now is cryptocurrencies, though crypto has had some problems. What do you tell people that say they want to be in cryptocurrencies? Do you offer the opportunity for people to invest in crypto through Franklin Templeton?
Yes, actually we do. So first of all, I always say that that Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is happening in financial services today. So I wish, because every time everybody gets in a conversation about crypto, it leads into a conversation about whether this currency, whether it's Dogecoin or Bitcoin, is of value. Forget that. That's like a religion. You either get a believer or a non-believer, and they're never going to agree. But blockchain as a technology and what it can do is going to be hugely disruptive. So not only is it going to be disruptive on traditional back offices and just create much greater efficiency, but disruption on business models.
The clip unfortunately ends there, but you guys can see, again, reiterating this concept that digital technology, the DLT, blockchain, that's what's really going to change the face of financial services. And again, this is the same person, Jenny Johnson of Franklin Templeton. She's a Franklin Templeton CEO. And so guys, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, okay, these guys are getting ready. They're getting prepared. Franklin Templeton, of course, like I said, did just file that S1 document for an XRP ETF, probably realizing that the writing is on the wall. as we're noticing, countries are actually pulling their gold from Western banks. This was an interview with Andy Schectman. Apparently, India just reclaimed 100 metric tons from the Bank of England, and it doesn't stop there.
Not only is there a drive to get gold and silver, which gold is the only other tier one asset in the world, but they've lost globally faith in the West, whether it be England or the EU or the United States. So all of these players are taking their toys and going home. Give me my medal. I don't want to leave it with you anymore. India just brought 100 metric tons home from the Bank of England that they've held since 1991. They're bringing all their toys home, not only from the US, but also the Bank of England. And this is no longer about we trust you. It's about show it to me. And that's where things get really interesting very quickly. So I think this will be a very interesting year, more so than people expect. I think it could be really, really kind of frightening, exciting, interesting to say the least, but that is a Chinese curse,
That is true. Okay, I've got one last question here, and then I want to show off some of your awesome packaging because I got some shipments in from Miles Franklin, and we're gonna talk about that for just a minute too. But here's the last question I want to hit on real quick, Andy. Francis Hunt said on Palisades YouTube interview, buy gold now till ratio 75 to 1, then change back to gold when it's 15 to 1. So maybe just some clarification on some of your strategies in the past that you've looked at with the ratio and how to play that a little bit. And I don't know, anything else you want to share?
Francis is a smart dude. And I think it's a opportunity of a generation. And I don't say that lightly. For 5,000 years, the geological ratio was 16 to 1, 16 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold. Even when Sir Isaac Newton was figuring out the relationship between gold and silver for the mint, I don't know how many 200 years ago, he used a 16 to 1 ratio. And once we hit the Industrial Revolution, largely because gold was money and silver, industrial and storage and logistics, man's ratio moved to roughly on average for the past 150 years, about 42 to 1 on average, sometimes higher, sometimes lower. The geologic ratio stood at 16 to 1. And silver, like your skin is epidermal, is found in nature in a form called your skin is epidermis. Silver is found in nature in a form called epithermal, right near the surface. Big deposits were found forever ago. I've had the good fortune of having dinner with Keith Neumeyer a few times and getting to pick his brain. And he said, man, there's only a handful of silver companies out there. Most of the silver that comes to market, about 75 to 80%, is byproduct.
All right, so Andy goes into the ratios there. Companies holding 16 to 1, that has generally been the case. Today's ratio, 42 to 1. And guys, essentially just kind of hitting this point home that the precious metals are still what's going to be important. Why would India tell the Bank of England, okay, show us our gold. Do you still have it or not? So precious metals still playing a very important role here. Somebody suggested that Bitcoin is going to replace gold at the banking level. And Andy Schectman on Paul Barron's show, he didn't really buy into that.
The maxi theory is that other countries would sell their gold for Bitcoin. What are your thoughts?
I think that's preposterous, to be honest with you. It's easy for Michael Saylor to say that. It certainly would benefit MicroStrategies. I think it's irresponsible and stupidity, to be honest with you. The BIS would not have reclassified gold as the only other tier 1 reserve asset, and the central banks would be buying Bitcoin, not gold. I think it's silly, to be honest. And I'm not raining on the Bitcoin parade. I'm just simply saying I don't think that has a snowball's chance in hell of happening, to be honest with you. Assets make people wealthy, not bank accounts. And if indeed this is what he is doing, he's accumulating assets and reshoring them. Same thing with the Bitcoin. It is an asset within a strategic account, but I don't think that it will be the backbone of a new financial system. You cannot have something like Bitcoin, which can fall by 20 or 30% in a very short period of time, be standing behind a system. But it certainly can be an asset. It can certainly be something to help pay down your debt. It has a role, but I don't think it has a role as the backbone of the U.S. dollar or whatever that new U.S. dollar truly is.
So negating claims essentially that Bitcoin is a threat to gold, that Bitcoin is going to replace gold in any kind of capacity. It's going to be gold, guys. This is the standard. Andy Schectman, not necessarily negative on Bitcoin, but doesn't think it's going to replace gold. Now, of course, he's a precious metals guy. He understands the economy. What he does say, though, and I don't know if you guys saw this video that I did back, 4 months ago only. So it was only back on October 25th, 2024. XRP is the best play in crypto right now. So he talks about the new financial system, how the SEC lawsuit is really going to affect XRP's success. Listen to this. Even Andy Schectman, president and owner of Miles Franklin, has recently been asked about the best cryptocurrency options for diversification. And guys, here's what he had to say. He's a gold advocate, okay? But he backs Ripple, and he says XRP will skyrocket after this SEC nonsense is finally cleared. While he primarily focuses on gold, he was asked about several options like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Chainlink. However, he said that XRP stands out. XRP specifically stands out due to its unique structure and existing partnerships. Schectman hinted that XRP's efficiency was the reason it could be a preferred choice for financial transactions, all while operating within the rules set by organizations like the Bank for International Settlements. Of course, he did say that the SEC lawsuit looming overhead is part of what's holding it back, at least right now. But here he is, Andy Schectman, on the Paul Barron Network show. This was just posted yesterday, guys, and this is what he said about Ripple and XRP being used for the future of settlements. Listen to this.
What amounts to a centralized ecosystem. You know, this is one of the reasons why a lot of people talk about XRP, because
Yes.
XRP truly isn't decentralized, and they have the ability to, reach out and grab someone if they have to, so to speak, in a crude sense of the word. But I do think that you will see a lot of these systems attempt to be integrated, and all the names on that list are that would pay reference to that. When you see all of these countries involved in mBridge, and all of these institutions involved in mBridge, Western-based institutions, there's no question there will be interoperability. The question is, what systems will they integrate? And I'm surprised that Bitcoin is on the list. I don't think it will be something that will be tied to any settlement, but I do think they understand the ability of transacting currencies and being able to purchase things like Bitcoin. I would see, quite frankly, a much higher possibility of something like XRP being involved in transacting, in
Right.
being used to integrate with the mBridge or Project Agora or any of these other settlement options, a form of instant settlement, a much more efficient way of doing so, but all of it under the purview, if you will, of the BIS and of the Western system. So it's an interesting thought experiment. Don't know how it all plays out, but so many people focus on the BRICS pushing away from Western hegemony. I think it's naive to not notice the elephant in the corner of the room, and that is the BIS and all of the organizations who are signing up to participate in it as well.
It's interesting that you mentioned Ripple, because Ripple is doing some things within the SBI, which is using XRPL for supply chain solutions. So this is exactly what you're talking about. Is this could be maybe one of the solutions that Project Agora and others might get into in terms of use case for not only value, but just the transactional layers of blockchain. If you were looking at the best crypto to play, and I know that obviously you're a gold guy, but you look at diversification. I think a lot of people that follow our channel, they might hold gold, they hold all sorts of assets, crypto being one of them. But you look at some of the crypto opportunities out there, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, something like a Stellar or an XRP, Chainlink, some of these that are starting to integrate with the banking system. Is there any that you would say, oh, this might be interesting to watch?
I mean, I own a little bit of Bitcoin only because I didn't want to say, why didn't I own it? And I've been talking about this stuff for so very long. But I am a hard asset guy, to your point, and it's hard for me to let my mind go to a place where I can't hold it. But I do really, really recognize the potential in XRP. And in looking at the way that it's constructed, in looking at the contracts that have already been signed, and looking at that flow chart that you just showed, it's unquestionable that once all this nonsense with the SEC is behind them, in my opinion, it offers amazing potential because it's going to be integrated into the system. It would be the one that I would probably say offers the best potential, at least from an expansion of the system that already is showing you that it is in I guess in just about every sense of the word is already integrated into their plans.
XRP obviously playing an important role. I mean, now we're seeing it with India, for example, wanting their gold back. They're probably not the only country. XRP is going to play an important role. As Jenny Johnson does hint, Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is going to be happening in financial services today. Is it any coincidence that Franklin Templeton did file their XRP ETF? I don't know, guys. I think things are only going to get better from here, but that's just my opinion. And for more information on what I'm doing this particular bull run, where I'm selling, what coins I've even purchased. I mean, maybe some of you guys want to see my $15,000 altcoin portfolio. Follow me, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. For all that information, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.